Hello, welcome to 2 Point Sam. This is Uriah,
I'm Julio,
and today we got a special guest today, all the way from where?
Hightstown, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Hightstown, New Jersey.
we got Eggy in the house, and we're gonna talk Panthers football. All right, so man, there was a surprising trade today, and a lot of changes, even at head coach, and a lot of players leaving, a lot of players, getting, retiring, key players retiring. So, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna defer to Eggy. Eggy's the Panther fan, and he knows a little bit about a lot about his team and what he thinks they should do in the off season. But what do you think, Julio? Talk to us.
I mean, I'm all for the Panthers tanking this year. Like, as a
Man.
Falcons fan, I'm all for it. But also, there's the scary part of, are you guys tanking for Trevor? Like, that's the question. And obviously, I don't want Trevor Lawrence in my
Sunshine.
Yeah, I don't know about Sunshine coming to play twice a year against Atlanta. That I wouldn't like that, to be honest with you.
That'd be nasty.
Yeah, that'd be kind of scary. So basically we want to hit on that. So first of all, Chico Rivera, our resident Puerto Rican in the entire NFL, is gone.
Yeah, the one and only.
The one and only, bro. So what are your thoughts on Chico? You think his time was up? Do you agree with the move?
Yeah. Personally, I think, man, it hurts to see him go, man. I mean, look, come on.
Yeah.
We got the Puerto Rican flag back here. That was a chip on my shoulder right there. But him going is bittersweet because I know his time in Carolina was cooked. It's more so because of the new coach, the new owner. So he gave him a kind of like a trial period there. It's kind of like what we saw with John Fox towards the end of his time, where his time coaching wasn't done, but he needed somewhere else to go, and the Panthers needed something fresh. So going with letting him go, it hurts the team, and I can see how it's starting to divide the team right now in the sense of players leaving, players retiring, what the team is moving forward to, these trades, these rumors about Cam.
So let me ask you something. You think Luke retired because Chico left?
I'm not going to say – he said it in his video. He said no, had nothing to do with any of the changes. But, I mean, being real, I think that it definitely had to play a little bit at least. You know what I mean? Because Luke seems like from what we see, he's like a loyal dude. He's a loyal player. So I feel like maybe that kind of – if he was on the fence of, maybe I should go now before something, drastic happens after all his concussions. I think when Rivera was gone, I think that was kind of his moment where he was like, all right, I feel a little bit better now about making this change.
Like, I don't have time for a rebuild, in other words, what he's saying. He's like, it's not worth like putting his brain at risk for some kind of rebuild. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, I don't blame the guy. It hurts to see him go. He's one of my favorites.
I mean, even just as a football fan, like, it's just fun to watch him.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends that were reaching out to me. It was like almost like if a family relative of mine was like, something happened to him. They're like, hey, I'm sorry to hear. I'm like, what happened? And then I come to find out, I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, this is a joke, right? And then I look it up on the internet, and it was real. And, man, blew my mind. But going into this rebuild that I feel we're going into, I don't think it was worth him putting his body on the line like that. And honestly, for me personally and selfishly, I would rather him retire than see him wear other colors, which I don't think he would do.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, who would I like? I mean, obviously, I don't think there's a football fan that would not want to have Luke Kuechly on their team. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, right.
Exactly.
There's something about like Luke Kuechly in the Carolina blue and black. You know what I mean? That kind of is like, yeah, it's pretty iconic, and I'm pretty like, just I admire him for that. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell he probably had some years in the tank left, but he's like, you know what? If it ain't Carolina, like, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? So, like, speaking of his loyalty and the kind of guy he is, I agree there.
Yeah.
Moving on to the new hire, right?
I got a question.
Oh, you got a question about? Yeah.
Similar. Now that you got new head coaches, and I know it sucks that you get Kuechly to retire, but at the same time, is it exciting in a way to see what you guys are going to, use, if you guys are going to use a pick to get a linebacker or get somebody in free agency to fill that void like Simmons? Or is it like exciting to or even with the new head coaches, like, are you pumped, dude, to like, hey man, like, we've had Rivera and we've had these players for these amount of years. It's time, it's time for like a new regime and new guys are coming in. Does it excite you? Like, does it get you pumped? Like it does to me, you know?
It,
Or,
it, you know,
are you like a loyal guy? You want I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. At first, like at first, in my first instinct, it's like, dang, it's a bummer because you start getting comfortable with certain players, certain coaches, and you start to feel like you almost had it. The Super Bowl we missed out on, so we kind of felt like we had it there, but then to see us go from Super Bowl contenders to right now being like the Miami Dolphins in a sense of rebuilding, almost the rumors of tanking for the quarterback that's coming next draft. But I do have some expectations that I'm pumped about. I want to see what Shaq Thompson brings to the table. I feel like he was very well molded and groomed into what the prototype Carolina Panther linebacker looks like. He's grown through the years, so I think it's his time to step up. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And with the coaching and like you said, like all these new changes coming in, I'm hesitant, but that's because I'm not very big on rebuilds because as a fan, they're like not fun. But at the same time, it's you're hoping and you're trying to see what route they're gonna take. But something that I want to hit on is that when it comes down to, like you said, this rebuild, I don't know. Like the trade today is really throwing me off of what we're trying to do here. So, new young staff, that gives me hope. Young staff, some people trying to prove themselves. Rivera came in, proved himself, got himself a job in Washington. So he's got a job. Amazing for him. I want to see what this offensive coordinator brings onto the table. I'm hearing a lot of things about his playbook. So you put in Run CMC into the mix, and I'm very excited to see what he can do with him. But the doubt now lies in Cam. So, like you said, new coaches, everything's coming into looking like a rebuild. What are we doing with Cam? What are we doing at the quarterback position? It's been very flippy floppy this year. It's one moment I'm hearing Cam staying, the next moment I'm hearing if there's an offer, if the offer is there, and then I'm hearing Matt Rule not too long ago went on and said that he can't wait to see what he can do with Cam. And then I think a day ago, Washington's on the board, like because Ron Rivera came out speaking about how much he loves Cam. So, I'm pumped, but I am, I have some trust issues
Hey,
because.
But since we're hitting at quarterback now, like, what do you want the Carolina Panthers to do at quarterback?
All right, so there's two me's here. There's fan me, and then there's realistic me. Fan me wants Cam. I want Cam. I was a big fan. I am a big fan of Cam. I think he has something to prove, but then there's the big but. It's like, is he going to prove it, and is he going to stay healthy? The other side of me, I feel the same way. Remind me of this kid's the quarterback from Clemson.
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm feeling the same way I felt about Trevor, the same way I felt about Christian McCaffrey. When Christian McCaffrey, the year before he went into the draft, I remember we were pretty well off at running back because we had Stu and Williams. So I was excited to see that there was a possibility due to how we were playing and McCaffrey's standing in the draft. I was very excited to see McCaffrey end up on the Panthers. And then the draft comes along and he comes onto the Panthers and there's all these doubts about him and then he just blows it up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm feeling the same way about Trevor Lawrence that I felt about McCaffrey. So here goes the part where realistically, I would not be against tanking, hashtag rebuilding,
Yeah.
if it means that we're not just looking like fools, like we're not just going onto the field and there is no method, there's no plan behind it. That's why they're the coaches. I'm just a fan. But I would like to see realistically us move on from Cam next season. I feel like this season, give him a chance, see if he comes back healthy. Maybe he balls out. Maybe you can get more for him. But next year, I think realistically, we're gonna move on from Cam. I think it's pretty set in stone.
There's something I definitely want to hit on, especially about like 2-point stance and those that listen to us or watch us. Like when I say tanking, I'm just following the media narrative. All right.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't believe in tanking. First of all, because there's 53 dudes, 63 players if you include the practice squad. Not only how many staff people you got like 20, 30 staff members. You got all these people. Like everybody's working for their job. You know what I mean? Nobody's going out there to lose on purpose. It's ridiculous. Right. Another thing is to think that a 20, 21, 22-year-old kid is going to save your franchise. Like, it's hard for me to say that other players are thinking that. And like when there's so much pride that goes into like being a professional athlete. Like in order for you to be a professional athlete, there's ridiculous pride and ego there. I'm not saying that they're all prideful. I'm just saying like it takes a lot of self-belief to get there. So, like, I don't think anybody really wants to be like, oh, yeah, we need this kid to save our franchise. Like, so when I say tanking, I'm obviously following the media narrative. I'm not believing in it in that way. But I will say this.
Definitely.
If we're talking about rebuilding, right? If we're talking about rebuilding, the only way to get excited is if the plan is to get one of these quarterbacks next year, right? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, whatever the case may be, it has to be.
Yes,
or else
it's the only way.
Or else we're talking about reloading, right? And to be honest with you, if you're going half-heartedly in, like let's say with Cam in there, it makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Like the Dolphins, like tanked their way to 5 wins, if you will. You know what I'm trying to say? Like in other words, like they couldn't even lose right. You know what I'm saying? Like 5 wins in there.
Hey, but you know what? One out of those 5 wins, they got the Patriots to play a wild card game. So I like that.
No, that's what I mean though. Like that's my point. Like no, I'll take that too. Like my whole point is like that's my point. Like you got all these other guys playing for their jobs, playing for their lives. That's their livelihood. Like that, their film, it's on tape. You know what I mean? These coaches, that record will be on their tombstone, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's really tanking and saying like, oh, we got a plan for next year. Like that's ridiculous.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like at the end of the day, if you were to say, okay, forget the tanking part, let's fix the Panthers to be a contender. Obviously, keeping Cam is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in Russell Okung to protect his blind side is another part of the plan. Then I'm assuming
that's something. You touched on that. Yeah.
Going for. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm assuming they're going for like, hey, I think we can make a little shot here. Hey, if Drew Brees continues to fall off, are the Saints going to be the same team? Now the Saints are the best team in the division. There's no question.
For sure.
No doubt about it.
I hate to admit that, and I know you hate to admit that too. But as of right now, they're the best team in the division. But seeing what Joe Brady's offense is, Joe Brady came from the New Orleans Saints, right? Went to LSU. If you watched any LSU game last year, I know they have ridiculous talent. But, like, watching that system, you got to be excited. Considering, like you've seen Joe Burrow move in the pocket, run, like, Cam could do that and more. You know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Like, at the end of the day, like, hey, can McCaffrey do what Kamara does? Absolutely. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it.
Yeah.
As of right now, last year, McCaffrey was a better producer than Kamara was. I don't know what
happened. Healthier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Kamara too. Like, he's a beast, but he wasn't breaking tackles like he was before, you know? So, like, to see McCaffrey in that system and Cam in that system, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel and the gang, like.
Oh, I believe in the Cat Pack.
Yeah, no, I
believe in those guys.
I believe in the Panthers' offense next year. Obviously, as long as Cam stays healthy.
No, definitely.
My big thing is, what do you know about Matt Rule and the defense? Like, he ran a 3-3-5.
I think he brought in Phil Snow, right?
Which worked with him over there. Yeah, that's
exactly.
He ran a 3-3-5. Like, can a 3-3-5 work in the NFL? Like, that's what I'm kind of like. I mean, I would think at that point you got to get Isaiah Simmons.
That's what they said about the Wildcat. That's what they said about the RPOs, that it wasn't going to work. They brought it in, and guess what?
Where's the Wildcat?
Well, no, but when they started it.
Oh, you mean that year?
It was working, right? Like, or even with the RPOs now, like
it's like the pistol offense with Kaepernick.
Yeah, it's a part of the NFL now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they got to go all in. I don't think they take a season off because as
No.
coaches, new coordinators, if you take a season off or quote unquote, or you just stink the first year, you're already starting slow. You know what I'm saying? And like you
Mhm.
said, like a 20-year-old kid is not gonna come and save their second season, third season, bro. They want to win now. Like if you're gonna get
Yeah.
some coaches and these explosive offensive coordinators, you got to win now, and you got to be all in with whatever you got. And I think that's why Cam Newton stays, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
they're gonna, because at the same time he has all the tools to run a college, or not a college offense, but a Joe Brady type of offense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he does it effectively too. Because I don't think they tank or basically
Yeah.
season number one away, because then it's a really tough year 2 and 3. It's gonna get harder to just like all of a sudden beat great,
Mhm.
even though it's happened. But it's, you want to start off strong and not start off slow, in my opinion. So they're gonna go all in
Yeah.
with what they have, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got coaches that are trying to come in and prove themselves. So, I agree with what Julio says. Like we're talking about tanking. We're not being like these guys are just like going in. They're like, oh, just letting people go by. Something that you touched upon, that when the Trey Turner went and Okung trade went through, I was very, I was kind of shook. I was thinking we got this really young guy, his 5 Pro Bowls in a row. I'm wondering why this guy is being traded for a 31-year-old who last year had a groin injury, if I'm not mistaken, and some other medical complications actually. But like you said, the blind side, and as a Panther fan, our Cam's blind side has been very poorly protected throughout his career. So I can see where they're going that route. And I actually I looked into that, and I think it's the offensive line coach for the Panthers who worked with Okung with the Chargers.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
So they said that he's actually been like trying to get Okung over, and this is finally the time they got him. I mean, they paid the price for him, but it makes me a little more easier because now I know this coach, he has a plan. He didn't just, say, I want this guy here because they're buddy.
I'm sure he did his homework too. I'm sure he did his homework with Okun, like
exactly.
how's your health, because he hasn't been healthy these past couple seasons. So I'm sure he's
almost his whole career.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think
and he's a vet. He's been around the league. And we got a guy like Greg Little who could use somebody that season like that to come in.
That's what got me. Like, you invested a second-round pick and traded up last year's draft for Greg Little, right? You got Taylor Moton, Moton. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I see all these linemen that you guys have. There's a ton on your depth chart, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, how did Okung fit into the picture? Like, I mean, you definitely weakened the interior of your offensive line, but maybe they're looking for it in the draft. Maybe they don't want to pay that much money to an interior lineman like Trey Turner. They'd rather spend it on the outside. I get it.
Well, I mean, looking at the offense, they're probably going to try a guy like you got a quarterback like Cam. You got to protect his blind side. Yeah. First of all, he's injury prone right now, and not in his career, but now he is. You got to protect the blind side, and you have a weapon like McCaffrey, where if there's pressure coming up his face, it's better than pressure coming behind his back. And a person like Trey Turner, he's really good, but not to say that he's, average, but he's replaceable.
But you would value, let's say you would value a top 10, top 12 left tackle than you would a top 5 guard. I mean, that's just the honest truth. You know what I mean? The way the NFL is built, that's just the way it is. Yeah. Unless you have a Drew Brees or Russell Wilson, where interior line play is like, it is super important when you got a shorter quarterback.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, and
Cam is 6'5", 6'6".
Yep.
You get, he in pressure in his face is a little different. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at that, flipping it, like you guys were saying, this isn't a year that I see us just flopping. Definitely not, because from watching these players, like you mentioned, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, McCaffrey, Cam, these guys have been together for a while. They're not just going to come in and just let it be. Then you have a person like Shaq Thompson, who now Kuechly's gone. That to him it doesn't mean like, oh dang, there goes our linebacking core. To him it's like, all right, now it's my turn. I gotta step up. And if I don't step up, then what am I gonna do? You know, I'm gonna wait for a draft pick next year to bring in a better linebacker, or this year.
Let's
No.
talk about it then. Like
let's move into the draft.
Let's move into the 2020 Panthers, right? So let's say forget the tank part, right? Let's eliminate that. Let's go into reloading and trying to compete for the NFC South title, or at least a wild card, right? Let's say Tampa Bay doesn't get the quarterback they want. Let's say Atlanta doesn't fix their offensive line or pass rush issues. Then you guys have a chance. Obviously, the Panthers have a chance. So let's fix it real quick. So you got $24 million after the looks like Russell Kuhn Turner trade left in salary cap, and you got a ton of free agents. James Bradbury.
Oh yeah.
Greg Olson's already gone. We talked about like Jerry McCoy. Dontari Poe has a club option. All these guys are free agents. You know.
Well, Poe's gone.
Yeah. It was a club option. They already decided on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
pretty much said
Vernon Butler's a free agent. You already lost basically your front line. Mario Addison is a free agent, right? So what are you doing in your mind with $24 million realistically? And let's take a look at the number 7 overall pick. You got what? The number 39 overall pick in a second round. What are you doing? What are you doing for the Panthers to try to contend next season?
All right, so it's gonna hurt, but I think Bradbury is gone.
Too much money.
He's too much money, and he's worth it. He really is. And it's gonna hurt us on defense because you know, like I know, our division is stacked at wide receiver.
Yes.
Like not only just Michael Thomas and Julio Jones. Now we have these guys,
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
They're just as dangerous, and Godwin's
beast.
The roof on that guy, like he's got so much more. So it's scary.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one guy that I do want back, and he deserves a 2-year contract finally. Not a big name, but somebody who's been at least consistent. That's Trey Boston.
I agree.
I think Trey Boston needs to stay, and I think he's going to be beneficial in our secondary because Bradbury's gone. I think Ron Rivera's already signing that check.
Oh, you think he's going to Washington?
I think he's going to Washington.
Okay.
I think we're going to replace Josh Norman with our next best cornerback for them. Yeah, so he's going back over. We're going to continue that trend.
Bradbury kicked Norman out the first time. He's going to kick him out again.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, maybe Norman comes back. Who knows? Not that I would want him, but another guy, free agent, somebody I actually want to keep too is offensive line Greg Van Roten. He's been like a quiet guy. He's been able to rotate on the line, and he's been pretty consistent at when they call him to go guard, tackle, like he's been there. So it's people like that you want to keep on the team. Trey Boston, Van Roten, people who may not be the Kuechlys and the Cams, people that are putting in the hard work. These guys proved themselves and got it.
Who do you want to add on the free agency list out there?
All right, so this one I had to kind of look into. We're looking at one thing that I think we need another back. Yeah. I think we need a back because
running back
from what I've
take off a little bit on
Well, no, I agree, but you rather do that through free agency or the draft?
I think there's cheap options in free agency right now.
Okay.
A name that came up was Chris Thompson.
Oh, yes.
I like him.
He's nice.
He can help us on passing downs as well. Even though he can still catch out the backfield, but he's a big dude, solid dude, who can come in and maybe fight for those short yardages, keep McCaffrey off the field. He can't have another year like he did last year. I think it was all mostly because of the projections of him breaking that record, like breaking
1,000.
I think that was a little bit more. They led to that. They kind of gave it to him. They're like, you know what? We'll help you. We're going to have to feed you. Besides him being the only thing that was working on our offense last year, with all the moves and people getting fired and stuff like that. but I definitely Thompson would be somebody, and for the defense, we need help on the line because if Dontari Poe's gone, we also have on two other free agents, Mario Addison and Gerald McCoy, who I want both back. Mario Addison, man, he might give us a hometown discount.
Think so?
Not hometown. More, I think he might. I think he might stick around. Gerald McCoy, maybe. He has actually a pretty good relationship with Cam. Let's see if that benefits in any case. But I would like to see them both back because Mario Addison has been a quiet leader on the Panthers, especially with a person like Brian Burns coming back for a second season. I feel like they would benefit together, especially with Matt Rule's defense. He's going to need all these versatile, quick guys, and Mario Addison is that versatile, not your typical edge rusher type of guy, you know. And even I think they even had him at outside linebacker at certain times last season.
Sure.
And if going into the draft now, if we are lucky enough and this guy drops after this combine he's having is ridiculous. Simmons, man, if we can get him,
so is that who
that
you
would be
number 6? Is that your
I would
number 7?
at
Sorry.
7.
Yeah, because
I would if he's there. I mean, you kind of have to take him. I mean, it. You imagine the speed on especially with like we're looking at our division. We have a division that has speedy backs. You know, we have people like Kamara. We have to have an answer for Kamara. The Buccaneers surprisingly have been doing really well with the rotation in the backfield. They got a lot of fresh legs coming. You need quick guys that come around the edge or can chase you down the across the field because you got Brian Burns and Simmons and Addison together. Those are quick guys, and that would be a good. We have to make up for Kuechly being gone. Let's be honest. We have to make up for that. So
that's not a bad pick, man. Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tossed up between like definitely Simmons because like obviously he doesn't have Kuechly's instincts, but that speed will make up for some of that, bro. That
exactly
some dudes down, bro. And like you said, guarding Kamara, I'm pretty sure the Falcons are going to draft the back in this year. Ronald Jones kind of stepped up last year for Tampa Bay. They got good tight ends in O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate if he comes back. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. The only thing is, it's between him and Brown from Auburn, like the defensive tackle.
Okay.
That dude's just straight.
Nasty,
like he's tossing linemen, bro. Like he's throwing them out the club, and like to me, like that's where it's like, man, like if you're gonna run that 3-3-5, or even if you go back to like a 3-4 defense, like you're gonna need a nose tackle that can like eat up space.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? But hey, DJ Reader's a free agent. You know what I mean? He's a good nose tackle and he went to Clemson. Like, does he want to come back to Carolina? You know what I'm saying? So at that point, if you can get like a DJ Reader and then Isaiah Simmons in the first round, now you're cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
Like that's where I can say like your defense is coming along really well. And then top of the second round, you can add an additional probably pass rusher, corner. I would say corner for sure. Top of the second round, you're definitely gonna need one. You know?
That alone.
I'm pretty sure. Like,
having. I mean, looking at the GM too. If we had like a Gettleman, if he was still here, I would see us being very quiet in free agency. Maybe a couple 1-2 year deals. I could see if it was him. I could see that happening maybe towards the beginning of free agency. Maybe one deal at most, probably, because that's how he was. He was very focused on draft. And then after the draft, he would focus on, okay, let me fill some holes. But with Hurney's got a pretty rough history when it comes down to how he spends money, you know? So it's interesting to see what he'll do. What I think will happen is a quiet free agency where maybe we'll re-sign a couple of these guys. We're going to have to let Bradbury walk. I can see them then honing in on the draft. And then maybe after the draft, start looking into maybe a linebacker, a cornerback that we can get for cheap, somebody for a season or two.
How many picks you guys got in this draft? Is it just 7 or you got more than that?
No, I think just 7.
Yeah, just a normal 7.
Yeah, yeah, because
Because I know you signed a couple of guys last year, like McCoy and them, so that kind of takes away from your comp picks. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
So with what you're, let's say with what we talked about, right? Like let's say the
Recap.
recap, like DJ Reader nose tackle, Isaiah Simmons linebacker. You said bring back Brown Rutten, Trey Boston, Bradbury's gone. Obviously Olsen's gone, Kuechly's gone. You got a prediction for what you think they could do if everything goes according to plan? Obviously they stay healthy. What are you thinking?
All right, so I would love to see them come out swinging as underdogs and maybe proving themselves. You know, like I said, young players, young coaches. I could see them realistically. I'm seeing maybe like if we're lucky, 8-8. Looking at the schedule.
I like it. Very reasonable. Very.
Cam.
We're gonna win 13 games with Cam Newton, and then 8-8.
No.
I'll take it. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense.
We may miss playoffs. But at an 8-8, that gives the coaches an understanding, a season under the belt in the NFL, and then maybe the big decision.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna rock with Cam, or are we gonna trade? Because honestly, I don't see how we're gonna get that pick if we have like an 8-8 season, even if we somehow maybe like a 7-9, that's not gonna get us Trevor. So then I'm wondering, what are you gonna trade? Because who's gonna trade for Cam when you can have Trevor?
For sure.
You know.
No, absolutely.
So that's when I see the possibility of us landing Trevor to be minimal, where maybe Cam stays, but maybe he has to take a pay cut.
For sure.
Maybe he's got to give us a discount for sticking with him for all these years and through these injuries.
Honestly, I could see it play out kind of like the Cowboys season played out this year. You know what I mean?
Like not too good, but not too bad.
Like almost like that.
Yeah.
Like Dak had an incredible season. I could see Cam like really flourishing in his offense. Like the offense is good, but somehow, some way, like the defense lets him down a couple games.
Oh, for sure.
A drop pass here,
Left
like
tackle.
a bad call there. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden you're at 7-9 with 8. You know what I'm saying?
We get those bad calls.
I think we gotta keep Cam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he
For
balled
sure.
out enough, and it's like you're saying, like you're also not in line to get Trevor, considering where you're picking in next year's draft. So that you're like, you know what? Our best option is to keep Cam.
For sure.
Obviously, we don't have much time left. We'll revisit this after the free agency and after the draft. We'll go over it to see, obviously what predictions came true.
Yes, sir.
On top of that, then we could give a real prediction. But yeah, the NFC South plays the AFC West and the NFC North this year.
Yeah.
So it is not going to be an easy schedule. You know what I mean? For any of us, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I am looking forward to, like I said, this offseason is one of the most exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but hey, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with Eggy? Do you agree with Julio and I? Drop your comments down below. Hit us a like. Hit the subscribe button. Let us know what you think, man. These were all great points by Eggy and 2-point stance. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Thanks for rocking with us for half an hour or so.
Basically, reload or rebuild. Tell us what you think.
Rebuild. Yeah, comment down
below.
below.
Reload or rebuild.
Thank you very much, brother, for joining us. And
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely revisit right after the draft. What do you think?
Yeah, after free agency and the draft, we'll go back. We'll start reviewing what all the teams did, and we'll definitely have you. We'll definitely have you on again.
Sounds good.
Hey, brother.
I might be very excited or very sad.
Yeah. Bro, same here. Last draft killed me, bro. He was laughing at me at the draft, bro. I was so pissed.
Yeah, I was clowning, bro.
Bro,
sorry.
So bad.
All right, brother.
All right, bro. Take care,
it was
man.
good to see you, man.
And
guys, thanks for everything.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care, guys.
God bless.
You guys.
Here, how we going? Bye-bye.
God bless.